All right, sun's going down, so you know what that means. Time to start another video. That seems to be what people like. We're gonna do that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man. And yeah, we got lots of stuff to fix. It's gonna rain tonight. And yeah, what I'm gonna do is take Dad's pickup back to him and then bring the 9650 and that field cultivator back. And then we will decide if we want to try to fix it real quick. More realistically, what I'll probably do is throw the bearings in this and switch back to this because I have the pieces for it. I don't like that these are bent, but I'd say they'll go. They don't know the difference. If they snap off, well, some of them have already done that on sides before, so they're getting to where they need new knives, and yeah, we need to tackle that at some point, but today's not the day. We'll put bearings in it and go again. And I'll probably wait on that field cultivator because I got to order whatever it takes, and we're gonna have to do some fabrication and bending because what happened was one side came out and then it pulled on the other side and twisted it all up. So I don't know if that's gonna be savable or if that's gonna be spend like $700 and buy a new piece. But yeah, step one is take this back. Step one is clean my crap out of here because he's got his own crap to deal with. He doesn't need my crap too. So if this video goes the way I'm hoping that it will, what we're gonna do is take that truck back, get the 9650, bring it back here. Then we're gonna take this rig and we're gonna put the rest of the fuel in the 4180 and then park it over there, you know, back out of the way. And then we'll get his little new loader tractor. We'll go out to the field, pick up that rolling basket and set it on the trailer and bring it back home with us. Step 5 would be to clean out this pickup because it is almost level full of stuff. And I don't know how I keep doing that. I can take an empty vehicle and have it full. That's just, I don't know. I just have that problem. I don't know why. Starts every time if you know the trick, and the trick is hold your foot a slight bit on the accelerator. This has got one of those inline injection pumps, and that's what it likes. Other people who borrow this pickup, you'll hear them try to start it and they crank and crank and crank and crank, and finally it fires up. All you gotta do is just barely touch the accelerator. This thing is kind of fun to drive. It's way more engine than it is pickup. I mean, that's why it goes through transmissions like candy. Barely even touch it and it's going 55, so, and going 80 some is not a workout for it either. I know that because I know when Dad first got it, he had trouble keeping it where he wasn't speeding, because whenever it does its last shift, all of a sudden it just slowly goes up to where it's way faster than you think. just hot enough out here. I could probably use a milkshake, but I really don't want to deal with all the boys in the yard, so I don't know. It's a bucket that I left. Think it'll ride there home? We'll find out. Oh, 96.50. A faithful horse. Air conditioner? Yeah. Oh, phone's ringing now. Cousin. What are you doing?
Nothing. Are you planting?
I did. That might be the wrong thing to do, but...
Are you all done then?
No.
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 No. I put my hay needles on, you know, my baler.
Oh, I forgot about that. You never brought it over.
No, well, see, I triple checked that it's not out of time. It's in time.
Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of trick mechanism underneath the knotters and on the side of it that's bent.
Oh, so you got more problems.
Yeah, something crashed underneath the knotters. They weren't in a line when they come up.
The carriage is twisted, in other words?
The carriage, the shaft that goes underneath there on your resets and for your knives all bent and everything. It didn't look like it until I lifted the knotters up. Like I flipped them up.
Did that plunger stop? Is it stuck or did it get destroyed? That's supposed to stop the plunger? See, I figured that was what caused your problem to start with.
That stops the plunger.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a thing that if the needle carriage is not in the home position, it flips up and then it'll shear the pin on the plunger so that it doesn't hit your needles. And since yours hit, I figured that it was probably messed up in some way.
I see it. It's under this, beside this gear by that shear pin.
Is it movable?
Oh yeah, I can move my hand.
Okay, well then that's not...
You want to know something about the shear pin in here?
Okay.
It's a hardened bolt, it ain't a soft bolt.
Yeah, they usually shear pins are like grade 12. Oh yeah, because the harder it is, the easier it snaps. If you use a soft bolt as a shear pin, it'll like smush over before it shears. It won't actually shear. So technically, if you wanted something not to shear, use a softer bolt because it will hold on longer.
Oh.
All right, well, if you didn't gather from that, he's still working on his square baler, cousin that is, and he once helped to fix it, but then he found a whole bunch more stuff that was messed up, so we'll have to try to do that amongst all this other stuff I'm trying to do. He's got to order the parts though first, so we'll see what happens. But we made it home with this, despite the motorists that aren't very smart, as there was another one that, you know, saw me coming, pulls out of the driveway, and then it's like, why wouldn't you just wait until I went by and then pull out of the driveway? So they had to pull off in another driveway to get out of my way. Common sense, people. Let's think for a change. Start a new trend. Good news is, I think the air conditioner held out all the way home. So the question is, did we get that fixed? What's it doing? Oh, it's on intermittent, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I can live with that. It's cool in here, colder than it, I mean, it's comfortable. We're gonna hope that I fixed it. I think that I probably did a lot of favors for it because it was way too much, you know, like it was in the red zone and it shouldn't be that way until like you've been running all day and it's hot. It shouldn't start out that way. So I don't know, that would be awfully sweet if that's all it was, because you know, yeah, I just don't look forward to having to take all that loose, you know. So we'll keep trying it and pushing its limit and see how much we can get away with. But at any rate, we're gonna have to figure this out. This here looks to me like, is this a stop collar on there, or did they weld? I'm gonna have to ask him if they did that, because that's actually not a bad idea to keep that from pulling out of there. But I'm just wondering if they welded a collar around it, and then, or if they just put another collar on that side of it, and then the ground polished it up. That just looks like they welded around here or something. I don't know. That's the one though that was different. It had the cast thing. Look at the flanges pulling apart on there. This one, does that have a cast thing, or is that, no, that's two flanges. That one's about to go out. But the carnage, friends, the carnage. It's sadness is what it is. And I think I probably aggravated it when I did the thing that I did. I don't know. We're gonna need to, I'm afraid, during this repair, like I said, we'll switch to the Landau and then I'll fix this right, because I still think I need to flip this basket around and then I can respace this correctly. We need to fix some pins that are pretty poor shape, and then order one new one of these, because that one's pretty bad. And truth be told, I wonder, I need to just take this all apart and look it over and see what, maybe I need to just order everything new for one 3-foot section of harrow, which will be thousands of dollars. But I don't know, we can make it better than it is. I just hope I didn't ruin this beyond repair. It's getting kind of thin right in there, so I don't know. The old heat and beat will fix that. It did the same thing as that Landau did. It pulled out of one end, and it probably pulled out. I don't think the bearing even went out. I think the flange let loose of it. The flange wore to the point that it wouldn't hold the bearing anymore, and it let that pop out. That's sad. So sad. But we'll figure it out. We always do. Now, we'll go put some fuel in. See, there's my box that has the bearings for the Landau in it. The UPS guy drove in the driveway one day when I was standing out there, and I just threw it on the trailer. That's as far as it got. I think the next thing I'm gonna try to do, well, is first find the keys to this, is try to vacuum down and recharge the AC on this thing. It has never worked since I had it. And the guy before me told me that they never could really get it to put out much AC. So, I don't know. We'll try it. You think it has 134 in it, or do you think it has that new kind of jazz that's super explosive or whatever? I don't know. We'll find out. Another fun thing is, do I think I could drive out there to the tractor, or do I need to bring the tractor? Do you bring the mountain to Muhammad, or the Muhammad to the mountain? Question mark? I don't know. Buddy the dog, I don't think I have the chains hooked up, because I hear metal drag. Uh-oh. I hope that was not like part of the trailer folding under itself. We're gonna stop here in a minute and hook up the chains, but we're gonna do it right by this gate, because I've been driving by those beans all day, and I think they're coming up, and we're gonna figure out if they are. I maybe didn't even hook up the trailer all the way, you know? I hooked to it long enough to move it. Oh. Now it's gonna be burning hot from dragging on the road. What do we think, friends? Cracking in each row is kind of a good thing, I think, because that means they're they're doing their thing. They're not just in there forever. There's some poking out. Oh boy, I hope they all get with it. I think we're just on the first day. I think they'll start coming up more. There's some. Yeah, they're just starting to come out of the ground. They've kind of made their way, or they're making their way. So we won't freak out yet. And that makes me feel better about having planted the ones I just planted, because if these will make it, then those should make it fine. I don't know. We'll walk away and we'll come back and check it out again at some point. See, I don't want to walk, so I'm going to try to drive out there, which is not very smart. But, you know, the thing about four-wheel drive is it lets you get stuck farther away. We're going to put it in four-wheel drive, shift in progress, and now we're going to pull this out, and it should diff lock. So, if this won't get us through, I don't know. Four-wheel drive with the diff lock. I mean, we might as well hook the plow to it. Oh, let's just push our luck. Let's just see how far we can ride this pony. Let's drive it through the plowed ground. Well, by golly, we got pretty close. Is it close enough to win the cigar, though? See, I need my trailer empty because I bought another tractor, as previously stated. I hope it'll fit on there. It's not an Oliver, but it was fairly cheap for what it was. Although some people will argue that it's cheap no matter what. But we'll see. Over there, like that there. Aw. Right about the time I get close, then I kick the electrical loose. I really need to get one of those new ground clamps. Drink up, you thirsty horse. It does, it drinks quite a lot. Although not really for what you get done. I mean, it's an adequate amount. I don't know, I'm tempted to hit this one more time before it rains. And then again, I'm just tempted to not do anything, because what's the point? But it needs to be, it's cloddy is the point, so working it up another time would get us one step closer to the finished product, you know. There's another project we're gonna tackle one day. I got all the stuff, I just haven't ever had the time. That wheel seal leaks, and it's not enough to stop you, but it's enough to make everything sticky there. If you leave it sit for a long time, that's when it really seeps some out. What do you think of my new trailer floor? That's as far as it got. That was the worst part. Stuff was starting to fall through. So I went ahead and put it there. Changed it a little bit on the tail end. So now I need to cut me some pieces. I thought about just getting a piece of metal to go over that, but I'm still gonna have to have wood pieces, even if I put a piece of metal over it, because I need some structure under the metal. But I feel like a piece of metal that I could, like maybe some diamond tread on the angle, and then leave it a little long and then bend it over so that it's flush, and it'll help from eating the ends of those boards off. I don't know, just thoughts of a moron. I mean, The good thing is I don't think that the fuel gauge on this reads 100% accurate, and it reads to my favor, which is good because then I stop in time before it runs out. But it just seems like the math doesn't math when you fill it from that tank, and you can fill the orange one and still fill this one. So that's good. I'm not complaining because, like I said, I would rather it go that way than be wrong the other way and I keep running it out of fuel. So, first time of the year. Every year I always overflow at once. I wasn't paying attention. I was staring off into the distance, regretting all my life choices, and ended up making her overflow. I really need to, well, I'm rambling now. Maybe during the rain I'll have time to get this somewhere closer, or bring a generator out here and try to get the AC charged on this one, because it works. It always did, because I put new parts on it. One more thing off of our list. How many lights can we get on the dash? 4x4, diff lock, tow haul, airbag light, tire pressure monitor light, bright headlights. We'll get the check engine on here in a little bit. Really round out that Christmas tree of failure. Oh, don't get stuck now. I could just drive over there and get that rolling basket, but I really don't want to drive on my nice planted stuff. So, plus we'll get to drive that tractor, and anytime you get to drive a tractor to do a job, it makes that job so much better. So that's what we'll do. I'll bring you back when we get out of this, if we get out of this. See, he's already used his wagon to move some hay, so that's handy. I walked right by it. Wouldn't have guessed that it was in the shed. Go. I like these. I think they're just so cute. They look like a mini 200 or whatever, mini 190. I really would like to find a 160, which is the next size smaller. That's a foreign tractor. I don't know. It's kind of similar to the Fiats. That's manageable. It's just I didn't want to trek it all the way by hand. And like I said, get to play with the tractor. I need to do is get him a ting-ting. I don't want it to accidentally get left outside and fill up with water. That's another thing that he probably wasn't thinking about, because the other one's got one and this one doesn't. Better just let it sit right there. All right, we need to come over here. I've got a tractor stashed in the shed over here. I need to get that out of here so he can put this in. This needs to stay nice. So that'll be another video up and coming. Cute little feller. Well, we made it home, basket in tow. It did go slingshotting across there and put little divots in my new wood, but that's fine. That's what I get for not tying it down. So I guess we're gonna call it a day, you know. I would, if I thought that I could make, you know, if I thought I could get that planted, I'd go all night long, but I'm not gonna get it, and I really don't want to plant anymore before a huge pounding rain. That way, if it fails, Buddy the dog, if it fails, it won't all fail, you know. That's one of the things that I learned the first year that I had bigger equipment, was I could get it all planted so much faster, and planted it all in like 2 or 3 days. Well, then guess what? It was all bad because the weather didn't work out. So if you stagger a little bit, you know, then it can't all be bad, is what I'm saying. You know, you might have one bad field, but then the rest is decent-ish. So that's what we want. But yeah. Oh, boys. See, that bearing stayed in there just so nice. It just pulled out of the holder. And then that other one, the bearing pulled off the shaft. So we'll have to clean that up better and figure out what our plan is. But I'm done for today, and we're gonna call this one here. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.